So the next question is referring to these angels who are spoken of in chapter 7, verse 1 of Revelation. What are we to understand by those 4 angels?
We are to understand that they are 4 angels sent forth from God, to whom is given power over the 4 parts of the earth. Imagine east, west, north, south, to save life and destroy. They are they who have the everlasting gospel to commit to every nation, kindred, tongue, and people, having power to shut up the heavens, to seal up unto life, or to cast down to the regions of darkness.
So have you noticed a pattern in the Bible, in ancient scripture? Have you noticed that often, not always, not every time, but often, when the scriptures refer to earth or humankind in general, it often comes in 4s. It's almost as if 4 represents this earthly state, this mortal condition that we live in. It's usually the 4 corners of the earth, the 4 quarters of the earth, north, south, east, west, the 4 cardinal directions that help us navigate this earth. It's every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. It not every time, but many times it keeps coming in this cluster of 4. And you'll notice in the book of Revelation, especially since we're talking about symbolism and the power of numbers and what they might mean and how we could find greater depth to our understanding in other scriptures through that, you'll notice that often the number 3 is used to represent heaven, the Godhead, and this perfect presidency, so to speak, of heaven. To me, I find it fascinating that where heaven meets earth, when you add them, that's where we find completion, perfection, wholeness. God already is perfect. He's already finished. He's complete. He's whole. He's lacking nothing. That's what the number 7, this perfect idea could symbolize. But for us, that perfection is only found when we combine with heaven. And the place that this happens most noticeably is in the temple and in our homes, where we can make them a house of order, a house of learning, a house of glory, a house of faith, a house of prayer, a house of fasting we'll talk about later on, a house of God. That's, again, back to, lest we get stuck in the weeds or in the minutia of going through these miracles, it's important occasionally to step back and look at that God wins perspective, the overall view, and say, wait, why should I care? It's God is doing all of this effort. He's the one who's establishing the covenant. He's the one who's bringing us the perfection. We cannot do it without Him. We're stuck. That's as far as we go. We can't even get to the final minutes of the game without Him coming and saying, let me bring my perfection so that you can participate in it.